way you've ever talked about me that I'm aware of. Appreciate it, brother. You're the man. I want to ask all of you, if we can get people in the back here, if you guys can join us right here. Come on in and grab a seat. Let's finish strong. I have 1 hour with you. I'd like to give you the best that I can. I want to talk to you about my life, my experiences, my challenges. I want to talk to you about who I am as a human being. I want to talk to you about why I love this company, this business. But I want to ask your permission, if I may, that I can be completely raw with you.
Yes.
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Give me a firm yes like you mean it. Yes. I want to be raw with you. I want to let you know, just tell you exactly how it is. I want to be direct. I want to address you in a way where you says, man, at least I was told the truth right from the beginning. We'll let you know exactly how it works. So let me get started. My story starts by being born on a dirt floor in Zacatecas, Mexico. True story. My mom and dad were from the rancho, from a little farm town. My mother was pregnant. My dad had left off to work that day out in the fields. And my mom gave birth to this guy right here. My grandmother was there nursing her. And into this world rolls in this guy here. My grandmother was a midwife. We had a little adobe house. It was like a 2-little-room house there. No running water, no toilet, no plumbing, just a dirt floor and some adobe walls. I don't know if you can picture that, but just way back in the day. And who would have known that those humble beginnings would one day lead to my life where it's at right now? But let me tell you about some of the middle parts. The middle parts is that my mom, when I was about 1.5 years old, decided with my father to now move to the United States to fight for a better life, for a chance, for her children to now have maybe what they couldn't have. And my mom and dad got together and they headed towards the Mexican-U.S. border. And just God is so great, man. I don't know if you believe in God, but let me just tell you, man, if you don't, you ought to try it. Let me tell you what happened. My mom and dad leaves my sister and I behind with my grandmother and my aunts. And they proceeded to go to the U.S.-Mexican border. They got there to Tijuana, and then there's a guy named Coyote. I don't know if you know that guy. So here's this guy who's sort of he's your guide into the U.S., not necessarily, the people that he brings over are not necessarily properly documented, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
So they tell my dad to say, okay, you got to come with us, and then lady, you got to go over here. So they get up to the border, and they part. And my dad proceeds to walk through the Sonoran Desert into Arizona for 2.5 days with limited food and water. And my mom got stuck in the trunk of a car, true story, a trunk of a car with 8 other people. And for about 2 hours, they somehow crossed the border. They didn't get inspected, they didn't check. And then an hour or 2 hours later, they end up at some place in, San Isidro. And then 2 days later, they somehow miraculously meet in Pasadena, California, where my aunts and the rest of the family live at. Let me tell you what they didn't have. They didn't have a cell phone. They didn't have email. They didn't have telephone numbers of the place they were going. They had like sort of one address, and then just by the grace of God, they somehow left Zacatecas, and 2.5 days later, they arrive in Pasadena. It's like, you made it? Yeah, I made it. Oh my God. And then they proceeded to start their life in the United States for the next 3.5, 4 years. When I was 5 years old, my parents finally got our situation squared away. They went back to Mexico, picked up my sister and I, and by then my brother Coronado, he's here, he had been born. And then we landed in San Isidro, or right there at the border, where we now, all 3 of us, my younger sister Rosie, my older sister Yolanda, and myself, we're now all 3 of us were on the picture of a passport. Therefore, we now entered into the United States. So I didn't come across illegally. I'm legit, but my parents, suffered like hell. So I go back and just ask, like, Lord, why me? Because I have cousins whose parents didn't do that. I have family members who are still back in Mexico, hoping one day they get a shot. It's just tough to now create an opportunity for yourself when things just didn't go your way. So it just goes back, and I ask myself sometimes in my deep sleep, when I'm wandering off, or in the deep recesses of my mind, I ask, well, why did I get this path? And the only answer I can come up with is God had a plan for me. He had a plan. He had a destination. he had made up his mind that this warrior was going to fight this fight. It says, where much has been given, much is expected. So if you've been given this opportunity, if you're in the United States of America, if you have a legitimate Social Security number, like all of us here do, or so we think, if you have a WFG code number, if you have a state license, you are destined to be great. But the thing is, we got to find out why should we do it. We got to find our why. We got to get really clear with the reasons why this is going to pan out for us. We have no time to waste. You've been given a lot of gifts, but you've not opened them. You've not put yourself in a position where you can actually materialize all these gifts you've been given. The fact that you have friends around you that care for you. So I was given a shot. I got that phone call. The guy, Jimmy Reyes, I'll be thankful to him for the rest of my life. I'll be thankful to that guy, Jimmy Reyes, who dared to give Guillermo Haro a phone call. Here I am in my little mortgage office. My office was about as big from me to that podium right there. I had my little desk, my little phone, and then my phone would ring and I would answer financial office. I had no receptionist, no assistant. It's just me and my 3 little files there. I'm a one-man band doing my little real estate transactions. And I get this phone call from a guy named Jimmy Reyes that I had met through some of these clients that I had who had collection accounts. And I went to go visit with Jimmy Reyes to pay off these collection accounts so that now their mortgage, their refinance can go through. And I had built a pretty decent little relationship with Jimmy Reyes, and about 2.5, 3 weeks later after I met with him, he called me up. He says, "Hey, Guillermo, do you want to make more money?" I said, "Yeah, man, who doesn't?" He says, "Listen," by the way, he was calling me from his job number, and he didn't have a cell phone back then. And I don't think I did either. Maybe I'd gotten into it. I don't remember. But he says, "Here's an address. Show up to this meeting. There's good stuff. Someone like you could win." And he says, "Okay, I got to go by." He was at work, so I jot down the address real quick, and then I try to replay that conversation over and over in my mind. And I couldn't call him, and I didn't have a cell phone number. I don't know that he did have one. So then curiosity killed the cat, and I show up to this meeting. So here is 18780 Amar Road, Walnut, California, Tuesday night. Put on my shirt and tie, and I show up to this meeting, and that night I shake Ed Milet's hand. Lights out. Game over. There's that one person in your life that can change your life forever. So Jimmy Reyes, Ed Milet, and from Ed Milet, the training, the mentoring, the coaching, the meetings, he chewed me out, he checked me, he pushed me up, he corrected me, he chewed me out again, he put me down, built me up. I mean, just tough love, the kind I love. I don't want you to be soft with me, I want you to be hard on me. I want you to believe that I'm expected to do big things, and then challenge me and put me up to the task and let me know that there's a hell of a future. And I'm here today to let you know that you have a hell of a future. But you got to toughen up a little bit. You got to believe in your future. You've got to be tied into the things that are important to you. What is important to you? And the things that were important to me is, man, I just wanted to make it. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was $30,000 in credit card debt. I didn't have any true guidance and direction, no coach, no mentor, just sort of fumbling through life like many of the people were around, like many of the people you know, they're going through life in the same way. And I got in a hold of this new system, and he says, man, if you just follow the system, and kept doing it. And true story, what Ed Milet said, I was going to BPMs, listen to me, for 2 years with 0 checks. I couldn't pass the friggin' test. I couldn't. I got through high school the unconventional way. I sat next to the smart people. Read between the lines. With me? That's how I got through high school. I told you my 3 big motivations about high school was lunch, basketball, and girls. That was like what fired me up about going to school. Other than that, I'm not a very good school person. I can't read a book and then take a test and somehow find all that stuff. Anthony will tell you, he's kind of like me too, and I gave him the answers too, so we'll go from there. And so we got through high school, and that's what happened. And I couldn't pass the test. And I was sort of winging it, and I wasn't focused, and I didn't know that you really had to know this stuff. Because back then, you have it really good today. Today, you pass your life license, and you get to make money in a week. 2 weeks. Back then, you had to take your life license, which was 75% answers, 75% correct. Today is 60, but back then you had to get 75% right on your life exam. Then you had to submit a U4. U4 is an application this thick. By the way, you could not submit it online because that's not the way they did it back then. You had to ship it in the mail. And then attached to it was a $600 money order. And that money order was to open up your U4 so that you can get securities registered in order for you to take your Series 63, your Series 6, and your Series 65. So back then, it was a different business. There was 4 exams you needed to pass and pay all the fees and study all that before you can make any money. But I saw the vision. I saw something like this. I saw a bunch of people that would make me tons of overrides. I was watching Ed Milet just escalating in his life. He just kept getting richer and richer and richer. And I was going to the meetings, and he was inspiring me. And he said, hang in there, man. Hang in there, Jesus. Like sometimes the way I tell some of you guys in here. Anthony Honoré, I'd be thinking about you all the time like that. Ed Milet was to me the way I am to you. Where I tell you, hey, hang in there. You can do this. Fight the fight. Stick in there. Hang in there. And I kept doing it and kept doing it. And then one day, by the grace of God, I just got so pissed off and says, man, I guess I had to take these tests really serious. For 1 week, I locked myself in my 1-bedroom condo in Pomona, California. For 1 week, I didn't go outside other than to grab lunch. And I was studying for 10, 12 hours a day because I got so pissed off. I saw other people come into the business after me. And then it passed me up, and they had a team, and I had no team. And I was frustrated, and I was going to the meetings, and I couldn't make any money. And I go to events like this, got no trophies, no recognition, no license, no money. They just told me that, hey, no license, no money. So I was like, man, I got to pass these freaking tests, and I know I can do this. I know I can do it. And Ed Milet was just, hey, man, you passed the test? Did you study? I'm like, no, and I'd be making excuses. And then when I study, I'd wander off a little bit. I got to go to the cleaners. I got to go wash my car. I got to go over here. I'm going to go to the gym. You know, I got to call this girl, you know, single back then. So that's the truth. I told you I'd be raw with you. So finally one day, my frustration level and pissed off level got really serious, and then I got committed. I went into that bedroom and studied for 10 hours for about a week strong. And then I passed that last test. When I walked out of the testing center right there on Imperial Highway in Brea, I walked out of the testing site after I passed my test. You had to have a 70, and I got a 71. Benito, see? I got a freaking 71. And I kid you not, I looked up to the heavens and says, Lord, you have no idea what just happened. You just unleashed. And I just knew that now I'd open up the door to opportunity. And from that point forward, when I passed my test forward, 5 years later, I was making over $1 million a year. So I want you to know that this is so worth it. Let me tell you what was happening from the time I got my license to the time I was making $1 million a year. Let me tell you all the work involved. So just, if you're writing this down, go ahead and write it down, or just take mental notes, but let me just tell you the truth. You need to work your ass off. Amen?
Yeah.
You need to work your ass off. You can't be funny with this. You cannot try to negotiate how little you can do for how much you can make. You've got to be sold out to this. So I was working my butt off. I was constantly bringing gas. 1, 2, 3 gas to every single BPM. For years and years and years, 1, 2, 3 gas to every single BPM. So it was Tuesday night was the BPM. As soon as the BPM was done, I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to make enough phone calls and talk to enough people so I could mobilize 1 or 2 gas to Saturday's BPM. Saturday's BPM was done in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Making my phone calls, contacting people, prospecting people to now get them to the meeting on Tuesday. And I just kept doing that and kept doing that and kept doing that. And a lot of them said no, and a lot of them said it's a pyramid, and it's one of those things. And how much money are you making? And I was making very little at the beginning. And I just kept doing it because I believed. I want you to have this event up your belief level. You need to up your belief. If you don't believe in this, what else you got? Seriously, ask yourself, what else you got? If you don't get big in WFG, what else you got? What other opportunities like this or similar to this do you have on the table? Who's ready to hire you and pay you big money? I want you to take a look at your qualifications. I'm not insulting you or demeaning you in any way, but for my qualifications, like, shit, what am I going to do? I guess I can go get a job like everybody else. I guess I can go bust tables. I guess I can own a little business. I guess I can work at the car wash. I guess I can do something. Nothing that would make me financially independent. Nothing that would make me a millionaire. Nothing that would make my dreams come true. Nothing that would give me the quality of life that I enjoy today. So I just sold out. Hint, hint. I sold out. I got really serious. I showed up to every meeting. I was going on 15, maybe 20 KTPs a week. You want to win big? You want to make millions of dollars? That's what it takes. Jimmy Torres, 15 to 20 KTPs. I was just rock solid busy with KTP. I get out of one KTP, I get back to the office, someone else jump into someone else's car and shoot to the next KTP. And then they bring me back, jump into another car, show up to another KTP. I was KTP after KTP after KTP. I was on it. In the process there, I was blessed with a little girl. Her name is Sophia. She's 16 years old now. You guys will see her in my slideshow. So I was a single dad in my one-bedroom condo in Pomona, California. And I have my little girl. And I had her on Wednesday nights. And then I had her every other weekend. And every other weekend, I'd have the little baby carriage and her bag of diapers and my computer bag and put her in my car and had to buy a car seat. So here I am, Mr. Mom, rolling along to BPMs and KTPs with my daughter. I remember clearly I was field training one of our guys, and I'm there to give him the KTP, and my daughter's right here, so with one hand I'm explaining the presentation. Right here I'm sort of rocking her on a little sleeper, and then she had pooped. And I says, Mr. Klein, I'm sorry, can you give me a few seconds? And I turn right there and change her diaper right there and ball it up. So you have the place where I can throw this, because I don't want to smell this in it. So all the trash is over there, so get up, go toss the diaper away. My daughter was right here. I give her a little toy, or put her bottle, and hopefully she could go to sleep, so therefore I can finish the KTP. You know how much shit I got for that? You know how much criticism I got for that? People would tell me, what kind of dad are you? Why are you taking your little girl to these appointments? Your little girl should be at home, asleep, because it was 9 p.m. and she was still with me at an appointment. So I want you to know, I've paid a price. I've gone through the criticism. This is not easy. I want to be real with you. This is not easy. Becoming financially independent and achieving your dreams is not easy. Don't you want it to be easy? It's not easy at all. And you shouldn't want it to be easy. Why is it not easy? Because it's so worth it. Look at all the things in your life that are so worth it. None of them are easy. Guess what? Being fit is not easy. Being happy is not easy. Being rich is not easy. Being a leader is not easy. Having a great life is not easy. But yet you want all those things. Understand that it's not supposed to be easy. Let's talk about what is easy. Being broke. Being negative. Being lazy. No dreams. That's easy. That's why so many people do it. I want you to disconnect from your mind. You're not looking for anything easy. And by the way, tell your recruits right up front, hey, this is not easy. It's not hard. Here's hard and here's easy. It's neither. It's actually pretty simple, but you got to stick to it. So I stuck to it and stuck to it and stuck to it and did it and did it and did it and worked hard and showed up and kept reading the books, and they told me to listen to certain tapes. So I kept improving myself. I worked on my vocabulary. I don't know that I'm anywhere where I want to be, but I was constantly working on the things that I thought would make me more money. So I said, if I can speak better to clients and to new recruits, it would improve my bottom line. If I can build relationships with people, if I can be a friend to them, if I can believe in them, if I decide to become a better man, I'm a good guy to have in your corner. You probably had me say that to you before. I'm a good guy. I know that I'm a good guy. I have a good heart at the core. I'll give you great advice. I'll shoot straight with you. I'll be honest. I'll care for you. I'll also tell you your truths. I'll also let you know that you're lazy. I'll also let you know that there's some deficiencies that you need to clean up. I'll also let you know that you're playing way below your abilities. Here's your ability and you're playing right here. And allow me to remind you that that's what you need to do. So that was happening to me, and I was working hard. My topic to you is you got to work hard. Many of you guys are not working hard at WFG. You are being very casual with this. You're a once in a whiler. You're not a part-timer. Sometimes you're not even a sometimer. You're a